Guys, we just had a brilliant bit that's now lost forever.
Yep.
I know. You'll never know it.
Yep, never.
Just assume it's kind of like a horror monster. Assume that the joke you don't hear us make is the funniest.
Yeah, accurate.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, there are times that we're in a room together, just being friends that don't get recorded and nobody else ever sees, and those are the best times.
Those
too.
are the best times.
Oh, yeah. George Carlin, go eat a dick compared to what we say when we're just together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But, once the technology is there for us to record every moment of our daily lives.
I kind of think it is.
It's going to happen. Everything's going to be monitored, and it's all going to be streamed.
Yeah, you know what? The guys at the FBI were laughing their asses off from the ceiling cams and the.
I always point to my PlayStation camera, and I go, hey, you watching this? Like, you're great. I just, make sure the big guys upstairs know that I love them.
Yep.
Don't tell him that. It's hard for him to jerk off when he's being complimented.
Yeah, he needs abuse. That's the only way he can finish.
Yeah, that's any government position.
Yeah, but we also need abuse, which is why we do this show. And
That's
we watch
right.
shit like Garo the Vanishing Line, which I voted to kill. And no, I'm really not that salty about that one.
Yeah, I can't imagine getting all that salty about Garo. Even if you voted it, like even I was kind of on the fence because I'm like, the reason I really liked it for the first couple episodes is kind of drying up.
Yeah.
You know what? It's reminding me of those Marvel anime shows. That
Yeah, dude.
Right? Like, it has awesome animation, really cool designs, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, it had cool animation set pieces, but, like, for when it comes to a story or characters, they are just bland as fuck, but they look cool.
Yeah,
That's what it feels like.
Now that you say that, yeah, it totally reminds me of that too. That is not a compliment.
No,
I don't watch those either.
Absolutely. And I like, that Wolverine anime, the Blade anime, a whole bunch of that shit like sucked, but it was like I could tolerate it. I could see it being okay.
I never saw that X-Men anime, not the Wolverine one.
Yeah,
the
I know what you're
X-Men
talking
one.
about.
And it had such good character designs.
Yeah.
Anyway, Garo Vanishing Line. I really liked the idea of the theater as the horror. Mm-hmm. I thought it was really clumsily done. Like, I did not get a sense of dread. Also, the theater was, like, really cheaply, like, okay, one thing I do not like about Garo is its backgrounds are bad. Like, the art for the settings all look really, like, boring and kind of amateurish, which you think wouldn't matter, but this is a show that's a lot about its tone, and not to mention the original Garo, the first one, had great looking backgrounds.
Did you guys ever see a movie called Deathbed, the Bed That Eats?
No.
I've heard of it.
Okay, I know what we're doing next Halloween.
Okay.
It's one of those, like, bad horror movies that supposedly, this might be apocryphal, supposedly the director, like, made the movie as, like, a first project, like, stuck it in a trunk somewhere and literally forgot he made it and then discovered it, like, 2 decades later. And here's the thing. It's not, like, a total shit show. It is very artistically done, but it's real dumb, as the title should tell you. It's about this bed that's in this, like, shack out in the middle of the woods, and people keep showing up and having sex on it for no goddamn reason, and then it eats them.
Yeah.
Because it's a haunted evil bed.
That's what you do.
And that's what this episode was. There's this theater that's evil. Why is it evil? I don't know. But that's kind of a creepy idea, right? If you sit in this one seat in this one theater, it's going to eat you. And you wind up in this, like, flesh room with a big giant eyeball where the screen's going to be. Like, that
shows you sad memories.
Yeah. Like, that's kind of a cool idea, but Luke is so fucking bland and boring that him being the focus of, let's explore his sad memories. Nope, don't give a shit.
Yeah, he's super boring. I absolutely agree, but I feel like at just a surface level glance, I like what the show is doing. It does not explore it enough, but enough money is being thrown at its production for me to go, okay, I can watch it.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Is it really? Because those backgrounds look really
just
bad.
the backgrounds, but the fight scene, the design of the theater, all that shit looks really cool.
The design of the theater is simple, but here's the thing. The storyboarding is, like, not doing a whole lot for me in terms of setting the mood. Like, a lot of these things are supposed to be horror, right? Like, they're literally called horrors. There's supposed to be this monster element to it, like the scary movie element. I'm not getting any of that because I'm always seeing these very simple colors, very simple storyboards, very simple backgrounds. The action this week was almost non-existent.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like I actually cared way more about Sword's part of this, and it was a third of the episode.
Yeah.
Learning that he lives in a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, no, that was funny as heck, and really adds another layer to the fact that this is supposed to be, I guess, ostensibly New York. I think
I don't know that they've ever said. I don't think it matters. It's
yeah.
the city.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically either New York or Los Angeles. But it really sells that for me, especially when you have this a Chinese restaurant that he's living on top of him. I love that. But when it gets to the Luke stuff, like, it's a lot of good ideas that is just poorly and presented so boring for me.
What was a good idea?
The idea that the theater was the horror itself.
Okay, I mean about the Luke stuff. What is a good idea about Luke? What is good about this character? Name me one thing.
See, Luke could be an interesting character if they'd spent
If
more
he were
than
entirely different,
if they had
if
spent
everything about him were changed to something good.
if they'd spent more than one episode, like, because here's the thing, I like the fact that he's the no nonsense corner of this triangle. You have Gina, who is Fujiko. She's
Yep.
just Fujiko Mine, and that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not an insult, but it's so hardcore Fujiko Mine. Meanwhile, you have Sword, who is the big buff guy who kills things.
Yeah.
And then you have this guy who's supposed to be kind of the more intellectual one of them. He cleans up the messes. I like his design. Like, I flat out
Yeah, I like it too.
Luke's design, but they want to have this no-nonsense character, but he's not, like, involved with any of this stuff. This is the first time we've seen him since episode 2, and that is a problem. Because here's the thing, they want this cast of these 3 interesting characters, and then they drop in and out, and he's absolutely the one who needs more development. And giving us these emotional stakes in this episode was the wrong thing to do. Like, if you're going to have a character who starts off as a hard ass and, like, who gets on Sword's case, he needs to be there more consistently, or he just kind of comes off as like, oh, he's the straight man, whatever.
This episode also went into some more Sword backstory, talking about he had a little brother who
Oh yeah, that's
they're
right.
estranged in some way,
Or
like,
dead.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
not,
just seems like he's dead.
yeah, not sure. And like you said, seeing some of his living arrangements and how he does, and what I discovered was I like Sword. I don't need anything more than his surface elements. He's kind of a big dumb lunkhead, and that's all I want.
Although
absolutely.
that being said, they don't beat you over the head with it. They
Oh,
give you,
no, not at all.
Yeah, they give you just enough, and I actually like that. I like the idea is like, we're not gonna get a ton about Sword, and yeah, we don't need it, but we only got enough for us to feel like he's more human, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Because I actually need a little bit of humanization for Sword, but I don't need much more than this. Like, okay, cool. He had a family and stuff went bad. Cool.
Yeah, I think that's all perfectly serviceable as a B plot, which is fine. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was coupled with an A plot that was just an interest sink for me.
Yeah, agreed.
I think this is skewed towards the God, not even YA. I feel like anybody between this is skewed towards boys like 12 to 15. It's like what this feels like this is marketed for.
Yeah,
and
actually.
and because there's no exploration of characters, and I don't need that. I don't think that I agree with you. I don't think it needs to be there. I think delving into Luke, as you said, was a bad idea for this. And I think it's a bad idea in general. I don't need to know more about these people. I don't need my sad story of a person. I just need to see you killing monsters looking cool.
But I need action then. And oh my, I got none of that.
There was only some of it, but what I loved the movie theater. I don't know what it is, just conceptually, and I liked how it was pulled off. There's something about it felt like a Japanese urban legend, and that's why I like it.
Oh no, and again, I like the concept.
Yeah.
I love the idea that if you sit in this seat in this theater, you'll disappear. And that's cool. I can dig on that. And what I also kind of dig on is Sophie actually has a purpose.
She trolls chat rooms.
Yeah, she trolls chat rooms. And by the way, whoever's working on the staff, like, I feel like all of the money that should have gone towards setting the atmosphere in the backgrounds is going to adequately giving us actual Korean, actual English.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Those
I know,
are
it all parses.
A couple of people have been like, yeah, that's actual, like, full on well written Korean, and it's right in English. Everything.
Yeah. I liked it.
In this virtual world, somebody watched Summer Wars and was like, "That's what I want the internet to be."
Yeah, I love their characterization of the internet. I thought it was really cool. Again, the show does enough cool things on a surface level, and I guess I know that's not what it is. Not trying to be anything more than that. They made, I assume, a bunch of money from the Toku show and from the previous anime, and now they can just throw it at another one.
Well, it's kind of sad because the one before this, Crimson Moon's terrible.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Crimson Moon, or I think it's Crimson Moon. It's the one that's set in like Edo or basically feudal Japan.
Okay.
And it's bad. It is a bad show. But this one is trying to be better, and I can see it. But like, yeah,
I don't
boring
think
a
it
plot.
is.
Like, see, here's the thing. If we're all agreeing, we really don't need to know more about these characters. Their surface level is fine. Like, that can all be fine. They're just, our viewpoint, our point of entry into this weird world and getting to know each little monster of the week. Like, that can work. But there's no character to the monsters of the week either.
Oh,
Yeah,
that too.
There has been sometimes, like Mr. Olympic Runner guy. Like,
Yeah, that was cool.
You got into his deal. Like, I had
Actually-
my problems with that. But compared to, I don't know, this theater's also a monster because reasons.
And not to mention the one with the pastor, the priest. Yeah, that one I could see it coming, so it wasn't surprising. It wasn't all that entertaining. I don't know. I'm gonna give it another week because like it's managed to
Because there's stuff that needs to die more.
Yeah, like again, this is just if I want something on, this is the least offensive thing to watch to me. It is my Power Rangers of the week. I know exactly what I'm getting, and I don't need more of that. I wish I had a little more heart, but it's fine.
Yeah, no, that's you know what? It needs some more heart.
It does.
That's what it needs.
It doesn't need development. It needs like more passion to it, and I don't think that will ever happen.
Yeah.
That's why I made that analogy to the Marvel shows because there's no heart for any of those characters, but they kind of look okay.
Yeah. All right, we've talked enough about Garo, I think.
Yep. Well, let's talk about a show that has heart, but is still real bad. Just because somebody's. That's the thing. You can tell that somebody who's making this, the writer, the director, somebody is putting their heart and soul into
Absolutely.
this. Like, there's a lot of love going into the show. It's too bad that the craft is just not there because the storytelling is garbage.
I
Absolutely.
am so happy we have the summaries now. Because if you had told me to tell you what happened in that last episode, I would have been like, Bandcamp and Sports Boy talked again. She played the trumpet for a little bit, which was really pretty.
Yeah, that was a pretty song. I liked listening to it.
Yeah, but that was literally the only part I could remember. Can we just talk about that eraser scene? Because that's the scene I've been wanting to talk about because that eraser scene, to me, is the most important scene in this episode.
That was
for
a good
Oh, yeah,
moment.
it very clearly is. I couldn't tell you a goddamn thing about what it's supposed to mean, but it's clearly
okay,
supposed to mean
I
something.
know. I think I know.
Mind if I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Please.
I think I know.
So one of those things about high school, at least I expect for normal children. For me, I had a bad time in school. But by and large, when you're in high school, crushes develop so easily, so simply. They can happen almost out of nowhere because that whole love at first sight thing is a very hormonal teenager thing. You see a boy who you know is athletic and handsome, and then he's nice to you, and then something happens. In that scene originally when he gives her the eraser, he's being nice to her. He's showing kindness outwardly, which in Japanese culture, that could be a little bit tough in school.
Yeah.
Kids can be very walled off. There's a whole entire, like, Evangelion is all about walls between people. Evangelion is a very Japanese show like that.
Clicks are very, very common.
Yeah, so it's not impossible to see why she just clicks with this one guy and has a hard time saying that to him. And I get that she's following him around, and it all happened when he gave her the eraser. She dropped hers, so he's like, "Don't worry, I've got you." And that's kind of sweet. I like that. Like as a plot point, that's simple and that's all you need. And in this episode, which here's the frustrating thing. So they've been building on this relationship with Mio, aka Redhead Tsundere, and transfer student. What's his damn name?
Eita.
Salt Boy.
Eita? Yeah, it's Eita. So they've been building on this romance angle. Like, their whole argument, like, he calls her out for, like, "You're making excuses," and she's like, "No, I'm not," blah, 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 blah. it's obvious that she's had a thing for him, especially since he got back, and they knew each other since before he moved. So it's been this whole thing long time coming, and it's so boring because you know it, you can see it, and they're not doing anything interesting with it. But then she goes up to Haruto. It is Haruto.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, goes up to Haruto and then gives him an eraser. And that's her way of saying, I'm done. Like, I'm past it.
Yeah.
You were obviously with this other chick, and this is my way of being like, I'm over you. Thank you for giving this to me. I'm returning it. And I like that. Like,
I like that too.
I like these ideas of gestures to help one overcome a thing. It may seem stupid, but we often do things to be like, I need to get over this, so I'm going to put a period on it, and that's her period. Yeah. So
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But the issue is, if this were a better show with better characters and a better story, that would have been powerful. I would have cared.
Yes.
But here, it's just dropped the ball so many times after like those first couple of episodes where I was actually like entertained. I'm like, yeah, this is funny and it's cute. But now it's all about the romance and it's too somber and no.
It plays it all so heavy, which I think is the wrong way to go.
Yeah.
Because guess what? These kids are all high schoolers. They're going to graduate in less than a year and go off and do different things and go fuck some other people.
And
So none of this matters.
And they could have been focusing on that crisis.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God, near the end of high school can be a total existential crisis, especially for Japanese kids. Because
That's the end of fun.
do you know why anime is so often set in high school or before? Because after high school, you go to your job. Like, you go to college and you get some fun there. But college is a lot of studying and a lot of prepping, and then you get your job, and then it's done. Like, you can still have fun in your life, but you've got to plan it out really hard, and, like, there's no changing, like, for a lot of people, there's no changing your job mid-stride. Like, if you leave a job that you've been with for years, that's almost painting a A on your, like, that's
yeah, good luck finding another one.
Yeah, that's a scarlet letter on your forehead saying, oh, well, we can't rely on you. You're obviously not committed. So, like, I was so curious to see them get into more of that, and it's been love triangle. Why? You have a show that
I know. I don't care. Like, oh god, it's the worst love triangle. Like, it's so forced.
it is also a bad love
It's
triangle.
fucking forced. I don't like it.
The one relationship on this show that I care even a little bit about, or maybe even that is, it's the two that I've been calling Sulk Boy and Sports Boy.
Oh yeah,
Because Sulk Boy he's rude to everyone else.
Yes!
He's
Yeah.
hostile for no reason.
I hate him.
Yeah, he's terrible. But when he's with Sports Boy, you see that facade drop. He's warm. He cares about his friend. He tries to prompt him to do things in a gentle way.
Which is why I want more scenes. Like,
Yeah.
oh my
If
god,
any other relationship between literally any two characters had that warmth to it, I might give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't.
yeah, and Haruto's reaction to Bandcamp was like. I remember I came in on that scene, you were watching it, and I hadn't seen it yet, and I watched that scene and I'm like, oh my god, don't let it be that obnoxious when I watch this episode. Then I watched it and I'm like, nope, still obnoxious. That is not how he should have responded. That is like, oh well, I've made my decision. No, I do not want to be with you. You are an idiot.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So, relationship note for you kids in the audience. Don't be overeager.
No.
Yeah.
This girl literally tells him, I have to, he asks her out, hey, do you want to go do this thing? And her response is, I have to think about it. His response is, woohoo, I haven't been rejected yet. That immediately signals to her this guy has such a low opinion of himself that he is that excited about a maybe. That immediately lowers his value in her eyes.
I wouldn't say
That is enough to, in real life, I don't know how the fuck it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't
in
know
this
how
show,
she does it.
But let me finish my
Go
thought.
ahead,
In
go ahead.
real life, that immediately will push a maybe to a no. Because, the proper response is, okay, I'm going to go date somebody else while you're thinking about it. That is the only response that, okay, don't expect me to wait around for you, because that signals high value.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna counterpoint that one. No, come on. Okay, I'm not gonna get personal about it, but the proper response is, hey, you take your time. Like, if you need to make your own decision on this, I understand. But I won't be here forever.
Yeah,
Like-
I think you just said the same thing in a different
No,
way.
basically what you said is, all right, I'm gonna go date in the meantime, which I think is like
Yeah,
blackmail.
I'm not going to wait around.
As the one who is closest to high school from all of you, I definitely think that in the high school relationship, there is still that we were talking earlier about the fantasy of the one person is still pretty bright and cheery. I think a lot of people are still looking for, because they all know a future's coming up and people are still looking for that one person. I understand why he's excited, because he's like, oh man, I could have found my one girl that I'm going to spend the rest of my life living with her grandma, because that's how Japan works. And it's, this is just how,
Well, and that's
kind of how he would react, I suppose. But it's just, oh God, he's so obnoxious.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's the thing too. Like, viewing it from the other end, that's why that reacting like that is a negative, because it puts so much pressure on
yes,
her
yes.
easily.
to like. This is no longer, hey, let's get a drink sometime. That's low pressure. That's easy to say yes to. That's, let's spend the rest of our lives together.
But that's kind of what this show is. Again, it's heavy. Everyone has that notion that whoever I end up with at the end of the school year is who I'm with for life. Everyone thinks that way. Like,
Yeah.
I definitely have fallen into that pitfall in high school and through college. I had that mindset for a long time, and it took a lot to fucking break from that. So I get where he's coming from.
Yeah, and I was going to say, acting that excited is not instantly, I mean, it can be, but it's not an instant, like, show of he values himself less. Sometimes you are that excited about a person. Sometimes you're head over heels for a person, and just the opportunity means
But
a lot.
outwardly expressing that.
It's okay to be head over heels for a person.
Yeah, but again, what you said was the point that I was going at of, that is, you don't pressure somebody like that. You don't respond like that. It's annoying, it is frustrating, and it is a quick way to push someone away from you. And it's not about acting cool and, oh, it's whatever, I don't care. No, it's about being respectful to that other person.
It's
Yeah,
basic
give them
social.
give them their
social
space and
cues.
back the fuck off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is just basic interaction that he fails at that I find so irritating in a lot of anime.
And if it had been like half that, if he'd been like, yes, and she'd been like, I don't.
After
and-
she walks away.
Yeah, yeah.
then that would have been like, yeah, good on you, sports kid.
Or if he pulled it back and said, sorry, I'll wait, I'm sorry. And that would have been funny. It would have been
Easily,
cute.
yeah,
And it would have been
absolutely.
like, okay, he rolled it back. It's okay that he's excited. And even to show her that he's excited that she's still reconsidering, because that can be flattering, like, okay, he's excited, but he's also being respectful. That would have been better, but he flat out keeps yelling it. And it's like, no, that is not
Yeah,
good
especially for
behavior.
this particular girl who is she is not high energy Genki girl.
No, she is so like demure, but that's it. Like her loudest expression is the trumpet.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad they brought that back.
Yeah,
I mean,
which is cool.
God, there are good things about this show that
There
are
are.
buried under its many, many problems. Like, again, that eraser scene would have been so good in a better show.
I liked it for a notion of my debt is erased. With you, I'm done. Like I think that worked really well, but I don't know. I don't know how much more we can harp on
Yeah.
sports boy here.
Please
But
kill this fucking show, you guys.
kill it so I can watch Black Clover instead. The music's still good though. I will defend the music till I die. The music rocks. in this show.
Music's actually
fine.
pretty.
Music
well,
is so good.
Yeah, it's good, but
Juni Taisen.
yeah, Juni Taisen. Oh yeah, here's another one I can talk a lot about.
Yeah. So, what do we got? What happened this episode? We got people killing people. Monkey's dead. Deal with that.
That was the shocker I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, ditto.
And that almost killed my interest in the show.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. So, have we seen her shambling body yet?
No.
No.
Okay, I'm not gonna counter out entire 100% yet, but ooh, wow, okay. So earlier I mentioned, like, anybody who watched the full bit, or like the regular FMK, are
I assume you did.
yeah. I mentioned something about anticlimax. This show has handled that actually pretty well up until now. Like the anticlimax with Boar was superb. That was one of the things that got me onto the show.
Yeah.
And then when the dog died, I'm like, oh, cool. So it can happen to all of them.
Yeah.
And then characters would die after being fulfilled.
Has it played that trick one too many times at this point?
Here's the thing. With Sheep, I was okay with it.
Yeah.
Because he was one of those characters.
I was ready for him to die.
Yeah,
anyway.
Any moment. I'm like, please get him off the screen.
And it looks like we need to reset that camera.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Get him off the screen. Fuck that sheep. Don't fuck that sheep. Kill
Don't
that
fuck
sheep.
that sheep. Yeah.
Yeah, and the way that happened, I actually liked the presentation of that. And I was waiting because the sheep up until this point had already fully established himself as a character, his motives, his interests. But he was woefully out of his element here. He was past his prime, and that was okay. I like that. I like the fact that the old seasoned veteran. But yeah, no, you're out of your element here, man. And he had already shown that by not having he had done a lot to get away from Ox. That was a cool. I like the fact he's about around right now he's probably finding that I led him down the wrong path, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. I was like, he knew what was gonna happen, and again, seasoned veteran, but that also means he underestimates people, and that led to his death. Unfortunately, Tiger, since her introduction, has been the least interesting character to me.
Yeah.
And this revelation that drinking makes her stronger was telegraphed from the very beginning. Why else would she be getting drunk?
Yep.
She's obviously good enough to be here. Why did he not think, I really need to be careful with this one? She's still a fucking Zodiac.
Yeah, no, he never once crossed his mind that everyone is here because they're a crazy killing machine.
Yeah.
How can you drop your defense so easily? This is so dumb to me.
Yeah, I agree.
This writing feels so amateur.
I did one of the rare points of levity in this episode. I did like the fact that she's drunk, she gets double vision, and she says,
Yes.
"You're using the ninja shadow clone."
I did like that.
technique.
Yeah.
Which is not just a Naruto thing.
No, it's not.
But yeah, that's really cute.
I did like that.
I don't call that amateurish writing, though. Not because here's the thing. It makes sense that he is this way. It 100% makes sense that after this long, he's starting to lose his edge. Because remember, the last time he won one of these, he was a younger man.
Yeah.
It has been several years. His grandson was going to be going into this.
Yeah.
So I 100% understand that. Oh, he's making mistakes in his old age. Yeah. I was actually 100% cool with that.
I just think that's a weak reason for
I
him
think
to
that
do
might
that.
have been more digestible if not for the fact that the entire last episode was the dramatic irony of, oh, he thinks these three guys are still alive and they're not.
Yeah.
We already knew that he was old and past his prime, so it didn't surprise us. If that had happened faster, or if we'd been given reason to expect, oh, he's the one who's going to take all these fuckers down. But I didn't believe that for a second. So
No,
it was
and
boring.
they waited way too long for her to actually make the killing move on him, in my opinion. I think it was a fun bit of the double vision, but they
we
could
only
have
need-
done that easily.
Yeah, well, and then they did it twice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was the
like,
problem.
Yeah, it felt like padding.
And
Padding is the word, absolutely.
which is weird because this is a show that's not wasting time, or at least
Until this episode,
Yeah,
it was.
it felt like
yeah.
it's wasting time.
Yeah, it did the thing that I hate this time, where the first scene was just a repeat of the last scene.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I hate that. And again, we had that shot of, okay, here's Monkey fighting more fucking birds for
Yeah.
3 episodes in a row.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, God.
Well, actually, only 2.
3.
They ran into them at the end of that one episode. She didn't start fighting the birds till last episode.
It feels like 3. That's the important
yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that duel lasted way too long.
Yeah.
I mean,
And too many cuts over to that. Yep, they're still fighting.
that was the bigger problem. It's not how long it lasted. It's the fact that during that period, nothing actually happened. But let me put it this way: if he had died to the rat, would you still feel that way?
If he died to the rat?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I can't judge based on the scenario.
Okay. Let me phrase this another way. If Tiger had been more interesting and a better character, would you still have called it bad writing if he had underestimated her?
I don't know.
Because that was my problem. The problem is Tiger is not an interesting character. Because her shtick is telegraphed, and her her actual design is one of the most boring out of them all.
Yeah, it's
I
super
mean,
boring.
trust me, as the furry here, even I'm like, yeah, trashy, slutty get up. I mean, she's still funny, and she has a couple of funny lines, and her interaction with Sheep is good, but she herself is not an interesting character. And so when she takes out Sheep, it's like, that's the one that got her? Could have been any of these other younger guys proving to him that he's overestimating these people, but it's Tiger.
In a show that wants so desperately to have middle schoolers arguing over who could kill who in a power battle scenario, I feel like it's irrelevant who would have killed him. Like, I don't know. It just feels like you said, padding.
Yeah.
They wasted their moments for me to really fucking care about any of the shit here.
You know who we haven't talked about at all, who's the ostensible focus character of this episode, is Horse.
Do we have to, though?
I don't want to.
Horse. Okay, so you go ahead.
Because they do a whole flashback of how he got his powers. Actually, I'm not even sure how he got his powers. He's
Captain
a
America.
He's he's Captain
yeah,
America.
He got the super soldier serum, basically.
Yeah, drugs and medical science.
Yeah, but that was all so boring because it doesn't reveal anything about his character. It's just facts.
Which we should note that if you haven't watched it, he's sitting here cowering in a building, like while we're getting a lot of this reveal, and I'm like, what? That doesn't drive anything further. Like it is essentially doing nothing for the story that I should be caring about.
And the last time we saw him, we were like, "Oh, I love Horse. He's an underdog.
Yeah.
He's such a because he's getting his ass kicked by Ox, and you love to root for the underdog." And here he just cowers in a corner and then gets killed. They squandered that goodwill.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like they had a lot of chances to do something cool, and they spent so much time on other inane bullshit or just not moving things along. Like, this is almost the inverse of Magus Bride. There wasn't anything like plot-centric in this, and that is horrible because the plot of the tournament is the only thing interesting about this to me.
Man, you would never guess from this conversation that this got a trifecta out of us this week.
Yeah,
But
this is my final thing because I can see the potential. That's what I kind of same with Black Clover for me. Like I see where it's going and I could hope that it does it.
because I think this is the first week out of all of these where it literally just did not have almost like where it lost a lot of its redeeming qualities in this what seems like a stumble. Because it's very possible that it could find its footing again.
I hope so. Yeah.
But if I can say anything, if Monkey's dead, that sucks.
Yeah, that was the only thing I cared about.
Yeah, well, and she had this whole mysterious plan, like I can
do
you
this
cooperate,
crazy shit. Yeah,
Which
everyone can live and we'll make peace and it'll be fine. They need to reveal what that plan was, or else that's a huge drop Chekhov's gun.
Oh yeah. Like again, I'm okay with anticlimax, but only when you get enough to satisfy you and then cut.
Yeah.
Like
Because as it stands, we don't know what that plan was, so we have no idea whether it might have succeeded. If it's like, oh shit, she could have resolved all this peacefully, but she was killed before she could, that's cool, that's interesting.
You know what? If they reveal that her plan is to now be part of his like necromancer army, holy shit, awesome!
That would be dope.
That would be really cool. But I
all according
don't,
to Cake.
Then I do not see that happening.
But here's another, like, the big issue, if Monkey is dead, is who are the characters left? Tiger, Snake, or Dragon, I can't remember which one of the two is still alive.
Snake.
Snake's the one running around with no head.
Dragon's
still
yeah,
around.
then we have
Dragon somewhere.
We have Tiger, Dragon, Ox, Rat, and Rabbit. And let me tell you, one of them hasn't even had a single moment of screen time since the first episode, which, by the way, is kind of cool. I like the fact that there's one guy who's just been gone this entire time.
I hear everyone says this like kind of spoils the whole thing. I hear like the outro. People say like spoil how things happen.
I haven't gone back to see what order that's in.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's true, but let me just saying Dragon not being here, like that just seems like a huge red flag. Who's the fucking coolest Zodiac character? The Dragon. Like every time it's like, you're the Dragon, big fucking deal. I don't know. It seems like kind of telegraphed if we haven't seen him so far that he's going to come in and do something cool.
Well, I hope so. But yeah, it's...
Well,
Yeah, it's not. Look, they really have to like change stuff next episode.
If next week sucks, I mean, I've been really back and forth on this show. I think the writing's amateur. I think the characters aren't that interesting. I liked one of them, and now they're maybe fucking gone. So now I'm just like, I don't know. Not much holding me here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll see if they can unleash the dragon next time. Y'all fine fellows gonna make me unleash the dragon. But going from possibly the weakest trifecta this week to possibly the strongest, Inuyashiki.
Yes.
Yeah.
So fucking good.
Man, I don't even know what to say at this point.
Ando
Like,
has become an active character. He was
And
very
I love
passive
it.
before.
Yeah,
and
no,
now
that-
he is driving the plot forward.
Ando is a character that, man, I remember the first time Ando showed up, I'm like, the show needs this character. It needed this character from the very beginning. And now that he's back and active, I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I'm super happy to have a character like Ando, the normal guy who's a good person. Yeah, like, sure, we had the couple, but they were just good people in a bad situation. This is a good person actively trying to fix bigger problems, and that's cool. I love it. Yeah, I'm glad Ando's here.
Yeah, I will say that so many of the shows we've been covering have used and often abused the I found some data on the internet thing, that I was watching Ando like a hawk when he's and it was certainly not the worst offender, but it wasn't as good as it could have been, because he's searching for body machine crime. I don't know.
But he finds nothing.
But yeah, but then I like his reaction was, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
no one's going to know this.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Where they sort of dropped the ball a little was, how did he get from that to miraculous healings in the hospital?
Oh, no. He started to look up, like, he tried.
The news was talking about it.
Yeah, he was looking up news stuff. Like, he had heard about that.
Yeah, because it was on the TV where the news was like, another news, like crazy people are just being healed in the hospital. And he was like, oh yeah,
this
he
stuff-
healed my
Okay,
paper cut.
I guess I missed that connection then. Well, that's good then.
Yeah, that stuff was floating around the internet. People were talking actively about that. Like with the murders going on, that was like, murders happening.
Yeah, it was on one, like a thread. It was like an angel visits the town, and they were
Yeah.
like, that's exactly what the thread was called. And they were like, look at these healings, maybe something else is happening. It was like, oh yeah,
But yeah, I loved how he, from that point, put everything together from such scant information, but so that every point followed logically from the point before it. Like, yeah, Hero said this. He showed me that he can heal. He told me that he can hear things from a
Yeah,
far way
I loved
away.
that.
Hero wouldn't be in the hospital doing these healings. Therefore, there must be another guy with the same powers who can probably also heal me. What if I just help?
me.
I'm being murdered.
Yeah.
Help! Help!
If I could,
good.
If I could say anything a little too fast, like I think it got there a little fast. But we're gonna allow that because, as you've said,
Yeah, for the sake of just keeping everything moving.
Yeah, and a lot was moving this episode to its benefit. Like
Yeah.
a lot of plot shit had to happen because, like, I think you mentioned last week, like, I don't know if we can do another episodic episode. And I'm glad that we're now getting to the main through line. It looks like.
Yeah,
So
no,
that's-
that was perfect. Another episode, like self-contained episode of the week, would have been one too many right in the row.
I agree.
But the fact that they went from such a good self-contained episode to such a good arc plot episode,
Yeah.
just every time I have a concern about this show,
I know.
like boom, next episode. Oh, it's like they're listening to me and doing exactly what I want, and it's beautiful. I love this show.
I know. I love it so much. It has yet to do something I find egregious or poor. It is. I don't know.
I'm in a weird place because I wish I could have followed Hiro's personal life a little bit more before this big change happened, because I would have liked to have seen more inside the mind of the killer. Like, I mean, I know we got that one episode was more than enough to establish it, but that kind of stuff was also the stuff that kind of struck me to the core. I was like, I kind of wanted to revisit that. I wanted to be like, how deep does this go? Where can we go with that? But this new development colors his character in so much, and that was 100% like something to its benefit.
Yeah.
And the thing about Hero is that he's powerful and he is sadistic, but he is not smart or careful. He's not Light from Death Note. He's not.
He's clumsy with his shit.
Yeah, like when he was talking to Ando a couple of episodes ago about what happens if you get caught? What if the police find out? He's like, I don't fucking care. I'm an invincible robot man.
Yeah.
And in this episode, when he decides, you know what? I'm going to stop killing, and I'm going to. I love this because it kept him from being a cartoon character.
Yes.
Like, he still has this mother that he cares about. He's not going to do good for the world like Inuyashiki would, but he's like, yeah, I can just take money from the ATM because I've got these machine powers. I'm going to set her up in a nice apartment. I'm going to do all this.
Totally realistic.
And this
I loved
is,
that.
This is colored very early on with Ando himself.
Yep.
You know, when Ando says, I can't be friends with you, he doesn't kill Ando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which shows that, well, okay, but come back to school.
You know what?
Still got a soft spot for Ando.
And yeah, to see that, and it's like, wait a second, it makes 100% sense that he cares about his family.
Yeah, because he straight up said, basically his character introduction, I wouldn't care if somebody I didn't know died. So he makes this separation in his mind. These are the people that matter. Everybody else is just meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just like, his sociopathic side, like taking over there. And now you give him all these crazy weapons. But I love how at the end of the episode, he not only says, I'm doing all this stuff for mom, but I'm letting myself be beaten up by these cops. He could have easily obliterated everyone, taken his mom, go like, okay, I'm taking you out. I'm going to set you up for life.
And
but
that's
he
the
didn't.
thing. It ends on a big cliffhanger.
Yeah, he might do something, but he
might
seemed to
still
black
do
out,
that.
so I don't know.
Like, the next episode could open up with him murdering all those cops. It could open up with him in a holding cell, like, submitting to this. I don't know where it's going next, and I love that.
Yeah, same.
It's interesting because there's that scene where this all comes together because it kind of seems sudden, but it's all down to one scene where they're watching the TV and he tries to turn away from it because he's like, yeah, okay, we're not gonna. I don't want mom.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to hear my mom's opinion on it. It's very subconscious. It's very much I don't want to hear my mom's opinion on this. I think there was a part of him that kind of knew.
Yeah.
And then when he asks, "What if that was me?" and she just stops for a moment and then she just says, "I guess I'd have to kill myself and him," and it's like, oh, yeah. That's. I mean, you know what? That's a big thing for a mother to say, but that's not unrealistic. Like, if a mom, like, if that connected, especially with her son, because you can tell that they're very close. She takes care of
absolutely.
him, and he takes care of her. And that scene is very important. So that development is, and it's amazing. This was 22 minutes.
Yep.
This was
So much to unpack.
so much shit. We haven't even talked about Inuyashiki and Ando doing shit together.
Yeah.
I mean, see, the interesting is there's a lot to talk about there, but it's definitely like secondary to Hero's.
Yeah, no,
stuff.
here the episode title is Yoko Shishigami, which is Hiro's mom. It's
Yeah.
like she's easily the focus. And it was really cool seeing that human side to him because that needed to happen, I think. Like, because it was easy to care. As you said, make him a cartoon character. We needed to have something of, no, he's still a person. And I love what the show is doing with humanity. That is like the key theme here is Inuyashiki is still like, no, you're a hero. When Ando's talking to him, like, you are a human dude. You're a hero. And he's like, oh, no, I'm not a hero. I'm just, no.
Yeah. That was the biggest point with Inuyashiki this episode is realizing that he's got mad imposter syndrome.
Yes.
For those who don't know, imposter syndrome is something that happens in real life where as you grow as a person and achieve more personal success, your mind expects it to be linear growth. What it actually often is exponential growth, where you're going along, you're working real hard, you don't seem to get much out of it, but it follows this curve, and at a certain point, you're shooting way up. And all of a sudden, all your hard work is paying off. You're getting all this success. People are telling you, you're so awesome, you're doing all these things. But in your mind, you're thinking, I should be down here. And people are saying that I'm way up here. Oh my God, I'm faking my way through this and nobody knows it and nobody sees it and I'm gonna fuck up and everybody's gonna see what a fraud I am.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
I deal with that a lot.
I
think a
we
lot
all
of us
do.
here
Yeah.
do. Being in the public eye and shit just kind of taking off. It's like, that happens. Absolutely.
Yeah, so when Ando says to Inuyashiki, you are a hero, you are great, Inuyashiki says, no, I'm just, his mind comes up with reasons why he's not that great. Like, no, I'm just doing this to try to prove that I'm not a robot. I'm just, it's really self-serving. And when they're in the hospital and he's healing people, they get caught almost immediately and they have to run out.
I love that.
And Ando's saying, oh my God, you saved that person's life. That's so amazing.
Yeah, he's like crying.
Yeah, and Inuyashiki says, oh, I only saved one person today.
Yeah.
I'm the worst.
Yeah, and by the way, the fact that Ando just starts fucking losing
Yeah.
it is this is one of the things I love about the show is that its use of visuals, like he doesn't just stand there like oh my gosh, he's doing it. No, like
turns around, he's
like an
dead
actual
bawling.
human being, he's fucking lost it.
Yeah.
It's
Because he's like, that kid is gonna be okay. I just saw a human being, a human child's life get saved in front of my eyes.
Yeah, the kid walks out and the mom runs up. I was just like, oh my God. Like, oh, it's so powerful. I love this fucking show.
And it's amazing because I feel like any of these ideas could have been done so poorly. Like, look at all these fantastic ideas, or even ideas that on paper kind of seem silly. And yet, holy shit, like every shot is just beautiful. And the framing, the acting, although very interesting thing about the acting. Hiro, his actor doesn't sound like anybody I've ever heard before in anything.
Yeah.
And it works. Like, there's a part of me is like, is this bad acting or is this just the hero?
I think it's character, like, because when I noticed it when Pubehead
Yep.
asked him out, and he's just like, first like, oh yeah, people call you Pubehead, and he's just like, yeah, and he's just so plain. He is just so detached but
Yeah.
cheery. He's that weird like mask of optimism. Like, here's my outward social human face, but everything in his voice is like, thank you, okay,
Yeah.
bye. The most robotic expression almost when he does that kind of shit. I really like it.
Yeah.
And Inuyashiki, by the way, you go on.
No, go ahead.
His voice actor is also very different too, and he's very soft. He does not like everything he says comes off as very demure, and he's not. He often kind of just speaks under his breath, and it has so much texture to his character. Like, it is so. They could have just given him any old man voice, but whoever's playing Inuyashiki is different and soft and man.
You just want to give him a hug.
Yeah, oh yeah. also something else. So guess who's really close with his family? Hiro.
Yeah. Oh yeah, seeing him with his dad.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, his dad
divorced
and
family, that's really
his
cool.
family love him.
Oh yeah, super
Yeah.
nice.
When he shows up, they're like, "Hey, it's Hiro."
I was so on edge. I'm like, what is this? Who is? Oh, that's his dad. Okay. Like, man.
Guess who's not that close with this family? Inuyashiki.
Yeah.
And it's
so cool.
It's a great everything about them. Young, old, close to their family, not close with their family. Doesn't want to be a hero, wants to be a hero.
Yeah.
Is so empathetic, like so utterly empathetic and sympathetic to the point of like full on sociopathy. Like nearly cries his eyes out when he saves a cat.
Yeah. I love it.
Their contrast is so good, and none of it feels forced.
No.
None of this feels like, well, of course he's like that if he's like that. No, this
This feels like the Hiroya Oku, I believe his name is, the creator of Gantz. This feels like a very mature rumination on a lot of the themes he tackled in Gantz. I definitely, we were talking with Tyler, our cameraman, he mentioned in our little break, he was like, I feel nostalgic watching this. And you and I both read the Gantz manga, and I do feel those, this is everything he really wanted to do in Gantz, and they are really nailing it. It is so refreshing seeing it executed so well that you can tell this guy knows what the fuck he's doing with stories.
Absolutely, yeah. The only thing that makes me even slightly concerned is reading that apparently the series ended after 10 volumes, the manga, because it was not selling well in Japan.
What?
Yeah. Now, apparently,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
apparently he knew a while in advance. It wasn't like suddenly, hey, you're cut. There will never be an ending. Like, he got a chance to end it. It will be real interesting to see if that ending feels good or if it feels rushed because he had to get to that finish line.
Yeah. I'm very curious. I'm still excited. I'm still optimistic. I think all of us here fucking love this show, and
100%.
knowing that at least that as an adaptation the manga is finished gives me a lot of hope that the show is going to at least do something. Because hey, if that ending was rushed, they have an ending. They can punch up whatever they need to. So I'm looking forward to it.
So we could gush about Inuyashiki all day.
Yeah.
So let's do it more. Inuyashiki is great. I got somebody on the Discord was saying, you guys are loving it so much. I wish I could watch it, but it's Anime Strike and they don't have anything else that I want. Get Anime Strike for this show.
It is absolutely worth it.
Yeah, and then if they don't have anything else you want, then cancel it after you're done.
Yo, if there's not another show that you want to watch on Anime Strike, it's called Made in Abyss.
Oh, okay.
Dude,
I'm
I'm thinking about doing a review of Made in Abyss because it's the best show this year.
Yeah, you should do something with it.
Like I probably am. Like if Inuyashiki continues down the the quality train that it's already got, it could very well be the best show this year. But as it is right now, Made in Abyss, my number one.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
if you're struggling to get an account for any other show, trust me.
Yeah.
There are other shows on Anime Strike, and honestly, you get a lot of stuff there on Amazon Video anyway.
We're not paid by Amazon, by the way.
No,
Yeah.
no. Although I do have a Prime account. I love Amazon myself, but
I love it
no.
too.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
have a Prime account. It's not for the streaming shit.
Yeah. So
It's for that fast delivery.
Yeah.
dude, Made in Abyss. Like, I can't wait to talk about the show if and when I can.
Nice.
So yeah, do it.
But, and then onto yet another trifuck. Lots of trifucks this week.
Yeah.
Trifecta King's Game. The surprise trifecta
I want to talk about this.
did not get was on the chopping block last week and then back from the dead. Went from a tri-kill to a trifuck in
No,
1
he
week.
voted to kill it because he hates fun.
Oh no, I did. I did.
Oh
Vote.
no, that's right. This was a double fuck.
This is
Yeah.
where we get to browbeat Scott into liking what we like.
Remember,
Well,
this
yo.
remember, this actually isn't because I don't like fun. It's because this came to an episode, like a couple episodes too late.
Yeah, to be fair, there is every indication that we're gonna watch another episode next week, and it's gonna be garbage again, and we'll want to kill it again. But in the meantime, we gotta swap that camera. Be right back. King's Game, we're back, kinging it, king me. Play the game.
Yeah. I only voted to kill this because this development came too late for me. Unless suddenly the show takes this sharp upturn in watchability, not quality,
Yes.
but watchability.
Yes, a very important adjective.
Then this was the first thing in this many episodes that actually got a good positive response out of me.
Yeah.
So no, I could not possibly fuck the show this week.
But man, this was out of everything I watched, aside from Inuyashiki and like Kino's this week, I had the most fun watching this episode than anything else.
You're right. No,
I was like, holy shit.
that's 100% true.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong.
No, I understand all of your concerns. I am voting from a purely in the moment sense that I was crying laughing and loved every second of the last like 10 minutes of this episode. It was so good.
It vastly helps that I was watching this episode with my girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
And so bad it's good shit is always more fun to watch with other people.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
same. Like that's.
You're-
I think we're watching the same atmosphere, so that's probably why we enjoyed it so much.
Yeah,
It was so good.
because then it just synergizes with another person of, are you seeing this?
Yeah,
I
is this
am.
happening? What the fuck?
Yeah, and here's the thing: like they could have gone left, and when it turns out that King's Game is a virus and all that, they kept on talking about it's the power of suggestion. You know, people, and Protag Kun says, well, how did we get infected with the virus? They could have gone left, which would have been to say, oh, we're all already infected. The text message is just a trigger that suggests how we should die.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
Instead, they went right. Oh, we got infected by text message. It's a computer virus. What?
Yes.
And at that point, I was out. Like, no, this is too dumb. I can't go with this. And then she caught on fire.
And then you're all in.
Like, okay, no, I'm back in. This is so dumb. It just came back around.
Did you know that your cells can trigger anything? Did you know that you could get welts from just the power of suggestion? So assuredly, you could also self-immolate from the power of suggestion.
And not, scream in pain, but just sit here calmly talking, as calmly as I'm talking to you right now, and tell you about how I was abused by my father. So it's okay that I'm dying right now. But
she talked for like 5 minutes.
Okay. So first of all, my father was a genius hacker, a coder. I'm like,
Yep.
Okay, first of all, no one actually ever would say those words out loud like that. Secondarily, by the way, he also sexually abused me, which is why I have no susceptibility to pain. I'm like,
Her father was an average rapist, but a brilliant scientist.
Damn! Slam dunking it.
No.
You see a lot of stuff too.
No, you see. Okay.
Some whips.
So, by the way,
Few butt plugs.
you see actual sex toys. Like, look, listen. One of the reasons I also voted to kill this show, and I can't wait for the white knighting comments, that was really gross. I'm sorry, but there's also a guttural part of me that was like, oh, and now you've brought sexual abuse into it? That's too real. Like, that is that point of like, you know, this is hilariously just wrong. Like, this is not the place to bring that up, not the way to bring it up, which made it more hilarious for me. But there's also a part where I'm like, this is rancid. Like, that is a rancid thing to do.
I mean, it's shock value for the sake of shock value.
Which is this show. Which is this episode exemplified.
Yeah, but here's the thing. People's limbs just falling off and heads twisting around and exploding and all this stuff, like, that is all this, like, high horror, like, unrealistic stuff that I can dig on. Because it's like, whatever, they're all fake fantasy creatures anyway, or fake fantasy people anyway, so why am I going to give a shit? But you bring sexual violence against a child into it, and it's like, that is, whoo, okay.
I guess I couldn't even care about that because I was too busy laughing.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Like, I don't know.
Like, there's that part of me that when that happened, I'm like, okay, for me personally, that just took another step up on how absurd this really is. Because I can't believe, like, as I said before, I cannot believe where this episode goes.
I'm trying to decide whether I would like it more or less. Probably less if I thought for a second that this was intentionally being satirical or self-aware in any way. I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either.
Oh,
I think the writers are convinced, like, yeah, this is the edgiest, darkest shit. We're going where nobody else would go.
When they're playing the song, too, of course. She's on fire, and they're like, do-do-do-do-do, yeah. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know.
I think it's the Schadenfreude of watching somebody make bad art thinking that they're making good art.
Oh yeah, I know. This is deviant art de jour.
Oh yeah.
But that being said, I cannot tell you right now how sincere this is. Mm-hmm. But God help me, after 5 episodes of what felt like sincerity, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Maybe this all was a bait and switch. Maybe the joke is on itself. But damn.
And all those questions are enough to make me want to see next week. Like, this is, oh God, if it is anywhere near this absurd and ridiculous and so just admonishingly straight-faced with how it presents stuff, I'm in, because that is so funny.
Man, see, but here's the thing. That absurdity worked so well here, but part of me is kind of feeling like I just got hit by a punchline. That's the thing. I had 5 episodes of dumb bullshit that lost me, and then bam, because none of us saw this coming.
No, we were all going into this episode like, well, this is already dead, but it lost the wheel, so we gotta.
We were talking about the fact, like, yeah, King's Game is not gonna last.
That's the next to go,
unless something else ends up getting also getting the tri-kill. It's gone. No.
Maybe it was that confirmation bias, just a slight bit for me, because I'm like, wouldn't it be poetic if King's Game did something ridiculous? Lo and behold, it did. And damn, if it wasn't hilarious to me. I don't know. I can't defend it any more than I thought it was funny.
No. We all in agreement. But that being said, it can't do that again. I feel like there's no way it's going to be able to do that as effectively, because, again, we had 5 episodes of dumb bullshit. This only worked so well to me, I think, because it was
unexpected.
Yeah. What's it gonna do now?
I don't know. Like, ask that to the Final Destination sequels. Like, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I want it to get crazy.
But Final Destination had different kills every time.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting.
Okay.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that.
We've all been hoping for better kills.
And we got it.
Kind of.
Finally,
Yes, we
Okay,
did.
no.
When he's holding Stumps.
We got
Okay, no. Stumps McKenzie is the best
Friend, no, like after his limbs rocket off from his body, I was expecting his head to rocket off next. I was like,
No, the best part is he picks up the torso.
I was like, no.
This shit is some Neo Yokio level
I
of.
know. It was so good.
One of the things I was like in this episode that I realized the production value of this is really bad.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's
Atrocious
been bad.
angles.
But when that fucking torso comes down and he just lifts it up and I'm like, oh my god, this is Kung Pao, enter the fist.
And they zoom in on his face, and he looks so serene, and his lips are super detailed.
And-
He's like, "You're my best friend."
And the best line in the episode, Nobuaki, what do you think heaven is like?
Yeah.
It must be really good because no one ever comes back.
which
The sobbing torso said. So good. I hope King's Game does something equally as insane. I don't know what, but I'm just hoping if it keeps upping this fucking ante, man, that's cool. If not, hey, I had a good laugh.
yeah, you know what? That was worth one more episode to see if they keep
Easy.
down that course.
I'm not expecting it, but I'm hoping for
And
it.
I'm not even mad that it made it past this week. I voted to kill it because I have a principle. Like it's like
Hey.
I don't like the show. I would not recommend it. And this episode did not give me any hopes that it will legitimately get better.
Not telling you you're wrong.
Yeah.
No,
But-
yeah, you're totally fine.
But fuck. Like, I'm on the same boat with you that this episode almost made those other episodes worth it. Wow.
Because of how, again, it's because of how it says everything with a straight face. Like that is what
Oh.
carries this.
Yeah, no, if
There's
like,
no wink at the camera. None
that's-
of that.
And that's what makes this such good satire.
Yeah. And
Unintentionally.
unintentionally. I will say that. I agree with Ben. If it turns out that they know and it starts getting real dumb, then sure, fuck it. I don't care anymore.
So, Kino's Journey.
Oh,
That's
man.
a show.
Ooh, okay.
This'll be fun.
Here's a show that was completely insincere and rocked it.
Yeah.
So can we real quick? Did you wind up watching episode 5?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I'd like to actually talk about that a bit.
I'm really
Yeah,
interested
yeah.
to hear.
So I think your initial concern, I think, first of all, overall generalization of episode 5, cool morals, cool ideas of morality being played with there. I loved the liars section. That was really cool to me. I liked how simple it was that everyone is lying about this fantasy hero, and then, oh, he's also lying to everyone else because that's how he wants it. It's convoluted. It ultimately, I don't think practically makes sense, but I liked that they took what this show does that I think works is like, okay, this is a country full of liars. Realistically, okay, everyone has to lie. How would that happen? And it was a cool kind of fable being played
I missed
out.
the realistically part because it makes no goddamn sense.
Oh, I mean, realistic. Okay, not realistically, but practically. If everyone has to lie? I need to check that off. Someone has to be at the other end of the lie.
Yeah,
I guess that's what I mean. Like,
That's a fair perspective. Realistically, that's up in the air, but the practicality of how the mechanics work is
yeah, just the mechanics of I have to make this setting and everyone has to lie as the DM for the session. How can I make everyone lie? Like that. That's the part that I think was really interesting. But ultimately, I think that was not as cool to me as the first part, which was the motorcycle. I really, really dug Hermes talking with the other motor rad, and I'm going, man, you get to go places. That must be really cool. And ultimately, no, they don't take him out. And I think you had, in your summary, it seemed like you had problems with them not letting him out.
I really did, just because it is a really cool idea. That is, Scott pointed out that yeah, there's a throwaway line like, hey, you should go talk to that bike. That's not enough. Mm-hmm. If you're going to, you can't leave that on. I don't know. Maybe you got out of hell, or maybe not. Lol.
Yeah. Sorry, you can go ahead.
I have to agree with Ben to a certain extent. While I am wholeheartedly okay with leaving a character in a bad place and being like, there's nothing you can do, because that just happens. That happens from time to time. But it's kind of frustrating because the show has such a weird moral follow through.
Yeah, which absolutely. That's what I was talking about.
And that could be really good, but
Yeah.
it can also be to its detriment because, I don't know. In that scene, you have this character who desperately needs saving. Mm-hmm. Oh, well.
who is Kino to be the arbiter or adjudicator for any of this as a traveler?
Dude, they ruined that in the Colosseum episode. They ruined that in the Colosseum episode. You no longer get to say, well, who's Kino to interfere? Bull.
No, because Kino, it's whimsy. It's whimsical. That is the word. I'm doing thing on a whim. I don't need a reason. I do it because I want to.
So Kino's a sociopath, is what you're
yes.
saying.
Okay, but
I am.
But I'm not interested in that.
Okay, and that's fine. I don't expect you to.
Or at least, actually, I don't believe it. I don't fully believe that.
Okay.
I think Kino is hardened. But if Kino were really a sociopath, I don't think they would have gone so far out of their way to kill the king in that Colosseum episode and then create those rules. I do not like that episode. Wholeheartedly made me believe that Kino has some kind of interest in the actions and behavior of other people.
Yeah, and you know what? That is the only time Kino has really involved herself in something, and because it was motivated out of revenge. How human can you get other than revenge?
Well, yeah, but
that's a real tough. Like your main character, that's the hook that you hang everything on.
But none of the show doesn't.
But if and not to mention that's kind of revenge, but who kind of threw themselves into that whole arena in the first place? Let me tell you, it was Kino.
But they said that if you want to get through the country, you have to do this, didn't they?
Kind of, sort of, but they could have gone around. They could have done any other thing than go through that. Kino did not have to go through that country. Kino
again, it's whimsy. It is just I'm doing it for the sake of travel.
But they don't get. Kino does not get to act on whimsy and then murder a country of people out of revenge for stepping voluntarily into something that they knew.
Kino didn't murder anybody. You are conflating that. Kino did not murder a single person. Every one of those people has agency. They're the ones at fault, not Kino.
Yeah, except for the fact that what about the people who did not take part in the violence?
Then they're not in the audience. Everyone in the audience is someone that survived. That was set up.
So you're saying that they are complicit in the crimes of this country by being there and not doing anything to stop it,
essentially
by participating in this corrupt system. Does that not make Kino complicit in encountering this victimized bike and doing nothing to help it?
Yeah, and I get what you're saying with that, but if you remember what Kino was saying, I can't take you, they'll wonder who took you, they'll chase me out, and I'm only here for like an afternoon, so sorry, dude, I don't know what you want me to do, to risk my life to try and get you out. I'm sure someone will come along to help you.
We wouldn't want the ostensible hero of this series to act heroic, would we?
It's not the hero.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm not.
Kino's not a hero.
Yeah, I don't need Kino to necessarily act heroic, but it goes out the window that they don't get involved in stuff when they constantly keep getting involved in stuff.
Again, I don't think that's what's so cool to me is Kino doesn't have. I never know what Kino's gonna do. Like for what you're frustrated, I'm entranced by.
Yeah. See, that's boring to me. If I never know what he's gonna do, if I have no grasp on who this character is and what they care about. That is boring to me.
And
it's as though Hiro were the main character and there were no Inuyashiki. He just
does.
Okay,
all right. Then that's totally fair.
Yeah, like I like my mom, but I'm gonna murder other people. Whimsy.
But the counterpoint to that is, I'd absolutely love if Kino never got involved. That would be fine.
Yeah, because that would be consistency in character.
And then things get to play out around Kino, and then I may not be so upset because then I'm following a character who is literally the audience.
Yeah, which is what I always enjoy. That's what I go into every episode looking for. I understand, I feel like all your hangups are the Coliseum
And maybe
episode.
that's why this week's episode was so damn good.
I think that's why it worked for you.
Because it was the best episode with the least amount of Kino.
Yes, and that's what I've always said. Kino is not the reason I watch. I watch for everything else, and I'm cool with Kino being the chaotic neutral that Kino is. I don't need a fucking reason. I want to see what happens, poke the beast, see what happens, or don't. Let it do its own thing. I don't know. It is a way of telling stories that is not explored often. We expect narratives, we expect tropes, and Kino says, fuck that. I think that's really cool.
I think that would be cool, like you say, if Kino was consistently the passive observer. I'm just here to learn about these countries, prime directive, can't interfere. That would be fine, but they want it both ways. They want him to be able to shake shit up sometimes and not other times with no rhyme or reason.
Yeah, and I will not hold it against you for not liking that.
And here's the the interesting thing is,
And I continue to say him. That's my fuck up. Kino's a girl. Get over it.
yeah, apparently Kino is a girl, not revealed thus far within the show. So, but I guess that's kind of a lot of people keep saying it's a girl. So I'm like,
Also,
all right.
guess what? It doesn't matter. Kino's a blank slate.
Yeah,
Fuck
it doesn't. It really
Like,
doesn't matter.
That's kind of why I keep saying they, because the show wants it to be they.
Yes.
The show keeps sometimes saying, oh, he or she or that boy, the girl,
Which
and
is
like, whatever.
and that's plays to Kino's nature.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I love that.
I dig on the gender ambiguity. Anyway, but point being, shit, what was I saying before then?
Well, now we're talking about this week's episode. Self-contained. Kino was barely there. We haven't really talked about like this episode.
Yeah,
proper.
let's talk about this. There was something I was gonna piggyback on your statement, but I can't remember what it was. Yeah, this episode had barely any Kino, but the story that it has to tell is, and it's so interesting because it takes the place over a day. It's just over a day in the life of this slave girl, and shit starts out like sad and then goes fucking crazy.
Yeah, and as you mentioned in the in your post summary, like a lot is conveyed. And like if you haven't seen this episode, I think you can watch this on its own.
Oh yeah,
you do not have to watch any of these. Same with the whole show, basically.
That's a good thing. Is that if you just go and watch this episode, congrats. You like, other than who's the chick, or like who's the person with the bike? Also her, that opening like monologue from her, like where she's talking about like, you know, if they'd only known. Yeah, but if you don't know, then you don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you think that'll happen to me? I don't know.
I loved that. And they kind of played the outro at the beginning, which was cool.
Yeah, I love that because it's a great start for this of like, there are things that you will never know in this life, and they could kill you. And that's like, and it's so very well said. And in this episode, it's such a great example, shown through many different lenses.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to be the dissenting opinion there.
Sure.
That opening monologue felt like padding to me. It's show, don't tell. Don't sit and talk about your philosophical ideas. Show me them as they play out.
I guess so.
I mean, it wasn't, whatever. They had an extra 2 minutes of
Yeah,
time
it was
to
like
fill.
it was like a minute and a half at most, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't objectionable. I just didn't get anything from it.
Yeah, which is fine. I liked it, and if you didn't, sure.
I liked it because, yeah, sure, you can show, don't tell, but I also think it gave a little bit of like foreshadowing to what was about to happen. And it was a nice foreshadowing for me.
Yeah,
it was foreshadowing that ultimately when things started moving, I was like, oh shit, that's what she meant. Like I was so curious how that was going to develop and what she said by that. And the moment like she started washing the plants, I was like, oh.
Yeah, because then it's just like something's up with this. I don't know what, but clearly some knowledge is here, and that is going to be the crux. Like that's where I kind of tied that together, which was I got that.
And also, one of my favorite, like, and it's such a good line that ties it together is when he's like, yeah, your grandfather give you any other advice? Yeah, he said, don't be a picky eater.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh, that's interesting. And then as we find out, he doesn't like his veggies.
Yeah, so he didn't eat all the poison.
Which, man.
So the mechanics of this poison, it's one of those things that is nigh universal in fiction, but it always annoys me. This poison affects everybody simultaneously, regardless of their age, their level of health, their body weight. Everybody who ate this poison is fine for like 5 minutes and then dead at the exact same time.
Yeah.
That's annoying. I hate that.
There are actually some venoms and some poisons that no matter, like, depending on how they're taken or where they're taken, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, foods, eating them, usually not one of them. Usually, depending on your body weight, your age and stuff, that takes a different amount of time per person. But then again, who cares?
Here's the thing. They could have set up for more cool character interactions of everyone going like, what the fuck happened? Is the slave? We could have had a bit more dynamic stuff. But for what this episode was trying to do, I don't think that was necessary.
Yeah. It doesn't ruin the episode. It's just one of those little nitpicks that always annoys me when it comes up.
I mean, and it's good. I like those sort of nitpicks are important. It helps, like, because if they pile up, yeah, it's a problem. But as far as just one thing, it's like, I agree, but oh well. I mean, it did not necessarily kill the drama of that scene where we watch a bunch of shitty children die.
Yeah,
Right? Because the kid's like, I'm gonna fucking destroy
let's
and
talk about
name this. Yeah, that was crazy.
Can I? Okay, so here's actually a knock against the episode for me.
That the kid is just actually most of them are just cartoonishly evil.
Yeah, I'm like I don't dig on that because I can understand people who own slaves and abuse slaves. I mean, the United States. But it's like, yeah, but these people. This is a world that seems to have like gotten to a certain point where, and especially in this community, that seems like, yeah, but why would you? What functioning society says that we can just take another person like that and then outwardly torture them and kill them? Like it's like I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I just have not seen enough dark in the world. But I just feel like.
I kind of want to ruin that and say that does exist. Like there are some pretty awful shit, especially with isolated tribes. There's some crazy shit.
Yeah, I think it definitely exists.
Yeah.
I think it's a little strains credulity a little bit because this, as far as we can see, this group of traveling merchants, they don't seem to be a slave-owning people. They got this particular
that seems like a provision.
Yeah, that too.
They got this particular slave, but it's not like their custom. Because like if you read your history, read your United States history, in order to make human beings okay with being so horrible to other human beings, you have to ingrain this shit into your culture. Yeah, that was not the case here. So yeah, it strained believability a little bit.
And not to mention like if your kid's talking like this, I don't know. It just seemed cartoonishly over the top in terms of its maliciousness, which that part took me out because I'm like, I don't know. If I don't see that happening in the sophisticated setting of people like this, that just doesn't.
Yeah, it felt like the writers trying to make sure that I was okay with the fact that these guys are all about to die.
Yeah,
I can understand that. I think by and large, I still felt the kid worked because everyone was clearly like they're just supposed to be monstrous, and how do you make the kid monstrous? You make him say some evil shit.
Yeah.
We'll return after these messages. Welcome back.
Scott, I was thinking that later on I would just like pull all your arms and legs off, and I'm gonna stab you. I'm gonna get into your guts and just like put my hands in there like silly putty and just work them around, and then while you're looking directly into my eyes, I'm gonna choke the final life out of you, leaving bloody handprints made of your own intestines around your throat.
Now I'm okay if he dies.
Well, guess I better drink this poison.
Yeah. See, that was it though. If he just said like, I want to kill her, I'd have been like, yeah, I can kind of see that, like, because all young men kind of feel like I want to become a man, and to do that, I've got to toughen myself. No, he's like taking this oddly malicious, like, yeah, I want to torture her in all these different ways. It's like fucking Joffrey from Game of Thrones over here.
If his entire family was also like, yeah, instead of being like, well, I guess we're gonna let him do this because he's king, everybody had been like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. We're proud of you, son.
Yeah, it's like let me put it to you this way. That behavior, that kind of behavior, usually does not lead to a functioning, not healthy, functioning society.
Well, I don't argue that any of these are functional to some degree. I think it's all crazy.
But as we see, they are by and large functional within their group. So it's just like I'm not saying it's completely outside the realm of believability, but here it does strain some stuff.
Well, if you wanna argue logistics of the country, which I do enjoy doing, ultimately the purpose for the reason that happened was to change the character of the slave girl. The reason that cartoonishly evil thing was there was so she could go. It felt like the innocent girl going on, Google image search for it's fucking Lilu in Fifth Element searching war and realizing that humans are bad. But like that's exactly what it was. But it's really over the top.
Yeah, it just went too over the top.
Yeah.
My problem isn't that the little kid wanted to kill the slave. I could buy that.
Yeah.
It's him describing all that and the dad like, well, sure, son, let's go do that. It's about time you became a man. I thought you were too young for this, but obviously you've given it some thought.
They could have handled it better, but I think for the purpose of, again, just driving the central character, the slave girl, to go that maybe my religion isn't right. Maybe it's okay to hate people. Is it okay to hate someone this evil? Like, that's the question. It's not, is this a realistic functioning society? Is it okay to hate someone like this? And I think in that sense, that's the interesting question.
And that being said, after getting your nitpick out of the way and my nitpick out of the way, it's a very effective episode.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm glad you agree.
yeah, like that old man from the very beginning, I'm like, you are the only halfway decent soul in this entire group. And by the end of it, he goes, he actually might have been a good person. Like
the dude with the chin strap.
Yeah.
The guy teaching her how to shoot. That was such a good sequence.
That was, oh my God, that whole
I
scene.
loved that.
Yeah, I knew where that was
fucking
going.
silent and just like, okay, pick it up by the stock, and like, you know where it's going, but it's still like,
and it's just that sudden
how
movement.
sudden, bam, like, and he's just like, okay, you hold it up like this, hold the trigger, and boom. I was just like, holy, I knew it was coming, but damn if it didn't punctuate it well.
Yeah, no, and it worked very well because he's like, there's no way that she's going to kill me. And first of all, we didn't know if he was going to live or die.
Yeah,
Like,
it was a little ambiguous.
It was pretty ambiguous on whether or not he was going to die from that. Maybe he was, and he was like, yeah, I'm not going to die from poison. I'm going to I'm going to hurry this shit up.
Right.
But it also felt like, yeah, I don't deserve to live after this. And she can't kill herself.
Yeah, she could not.
I need to remove myself from the picture here and let her be free forever.
Which led to ultimately my favorite message from the episode, which after I saw this, I really thought a lot about, which is why I love this show, because it gets me thinking, which is what I like. Just when she eventually, there's in the one of the motorcades, there's another motor rad. She takes it out, and for a while I thought this was a flashback.
Yeah, no.
Which I was like, oh my God, is that baby Hermes?
Yeah, are we learning about Kino's origin here?
Yeah,
because here's the thing: clean her up.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could have very possibly had Kino there. I mean, the character models are not too distinct.
Yeah, which is, I was like, that's what I thought we were seeing for a while, but then eventually it's different. But I love, because it is still a parallel, which I think ultimately was the function. Even if this wasn't a flashback, you could put that onto Kino.
Yeah.
You're like, that could be why this is happening. Who fucking knows? But the main kind of central theme of this near the end was the easiest way to die is to live.
Yep.
And I'm like, damn if that's not poignant. That is so fucking cool. It's kind of like that it's kind of like that adage about, if you think you're suicidal, fucking blow all your money and go somewhere. Just, if you're going to die, fucking why not? Just go do something crazy, and at least that is something that could change your mind or make you know that if you're going to live, you're going to die at some point. And I don't know, that just made me think a lot about it, because as someone who deals with the idea of wanting to die, that just kind of comes up. It was really neat hearing them kind of talk about this at length and going, well, if you go travel, who cares? Go do whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's kind of go live your life, because the worst that can happen is you die. And if you're ready for that, then it can only go up from here, obviously. Which I liked.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that message. And I don't know, it's just something that really, really resonated with me with that.
I feel like we've talked a lot about this episode. What about you? What were your thoughts?
I mean, I think so much of this episode, and I said it after I read out the summary, just a list of things that happen makes it sound really dry and boring and kind of limp. And it was not that at all. And I think it was lifted up so much by the setting, by the cinematography. They're up in this beautiful mountain valley, and when everybody dies from the poison, they are so isolated. They're a million miles from everything. You feel how hopeless this situation is.
Yeah.
She is in chains. She hasn't eaten the poison, but her days are numbered until the guard with the chin strap that he tricks her into shooting him, he releases her chains before this happens. So now she's got a chance, and then when she meets the other motor rad, I agree with you 1,000% that the highlight of the episode was when she's asking the motor rad, how do I die? Tell me how to die.
Yeah.
He says, just live. Just live. And the denouement, it flashes forward 5 years, hey, here's what happened to her. She traveled around for a while and she reached this country and they took her in and she found a life for herself. That was all fine.
Yeah.
It could have just as easily have said, and she lived happily ever after.
Yeah.
But it did what it needed to do.
I was actually, You know what? I was actually happy with figuring out what happened. Personally, it was nice to see.
Yeah, just like that particular what happened, it didn't need to be she became a photographer. Like, okay, I guess that's what she wanted to do. Mm-hmm. It could just have easily have been she settled down and had 8 kids, or she decided to be a school teacher, or she was an astronaut and went to the moon.
Yeah.
What mattered is she made a life for herself.
Yeah, it's irrelevant what she did. It's that she went and did something, which is just what to take away from that.
Now I'm just waiting for Photo to be the hottest baby name for girls of 2018.
A lot to love in this episode. I feel like we've beaten it enough, but you can watch this, and if you haven't watched it yet, we fucking ripped it apart. But still, as you said, there's a lot to visually see. Definitely check it out. You can watch it on its own. Kino's Journey episode 6?
Yeah, I think at the time of this airing, it might still be behind the premium paywall.
It might be.
Because on Crunchyroll, the latest episode is usually behind the paywall. But wait a week, and it'll be free, and you don't have to watch anything else. Go check it out.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's a good place to jump in and decide if Kino's Journey is something you're interested in.
Definitely the highlight so far for me. That was definitely the best episode so far.
Speaking of best episodes so far, I loved episode 6 of Recovery of an MMO Junkie.
Yes!
So much. I think this was and I've been liking it the whole time. I think this was really the payoff for a lot of what's been getting set up.
I was surprised how far this episode would go, and yet still had restraint on other things. It was remarkable.
Yeah, so we never did really get a definitive answer to did she get the date wrong, or was Koiwai, was he doing, which I'm fine with that. I like that ambiguity. But I love, so Koiwai did something super slick here. When he's off on his business trip and he calls her up and he's like, "Oh, did you think it was today? Oh, I'm so sorry. No, it was tomorrow. Actually, not even. Oh, I'm so sorry. It was kind of like, oh, you goofball, you got the date wrong."
Which 100% makes me think Koiwai told her that day.
Very well
and
could
then told Sakura another day.
Because he thought to call, and turns out Sakura's already there, and he says, "Oh, he's there. Can I talk to him real quick? Just put me on speaker." And then hand this over to him so he knows that she can hear when he says, "Hey, is she looking real cute?"
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
and then Sakura turns it back on him in such a slick way,
I loved it.
Which is not usual for him. He says, "Yeah, in fact, she's so cute. I'm kind of glad you're not here to see it."
Yeah.
I loved
that.
Seeing
Was a
that.
great line. I really enjoyed that. And it went to show that, because I thought for a bit that Koiwai was playing matchmaker. That that's what he was the motive. But then I was like, oh no, that's just kind of how he's rolling. I like that.
I think
he's playing matchmaker. I 100% believe it.
You know what?
He's still got some in there for him though too.
I think he has set up a win-win situation for himself.
Yes.
Because, if matchmaker makes me a match, then he gets to sit back and go, "Oh, those cute kids, I knew they were perfect for each other." And if Sakura-chan doesn't pull his nuts out and make a move, then, this is a really dope chick, and if Koiwai gets some for Koiwai, hey, that's a win for Koiwai.
Yeah.
That said, he's clearly pushing all
his fucking
buttons.
Showing that picture when she's in the booth, he's like, "I could do anything."
Yeah. So yeah.
No, that's why. That's why 100% he's being a matchmaker right now.
Yeah. So Morioka gets drunk and not quite passes out, but dozes off in the restaurant booth when she's on her date with Koiwai, and he takes a picture and sends it to Sakura-chan and says, "She's so cute. Do you think I'd be a bad person if I took advantage? I could totally take her home right now, right? That's okay, right?"
To which what was he doing? He was Sakura was also in a raid or something at the point. And they were everyone in the game was like, "It's not normal for you to not pay attention to aggro or shit. What's wrong with you?" And he's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm a little spacey." And then as Lily, he's like, "Shit, I gotta go," and then just books it. And I really liked that, because I was just, that's so good and so real.
Yeah.
If that doesn't fucking happen, that was really cool.
But yeah, and gosh, what was it? Shoot, there was a point that I was gonna make.
Koiwai, matchmaker.
So there's kind of this part of me that I would love for this to happen, but I also don't want it to happen because I am done with the coincidences in this show.
You want Koiwai to turn out to be a player too.
I kind of want to be. I want him to be Himeralda. the like effeminate dude.
Mm-hmm.
There's a part of me that would
okay.
love for him to be gay, have a partner that he just hasn't told Sakura about, and they play together or some crap like that.
okay.
Because he's awfully playful, and so is Himerelda, but that's probably not it. That's just something that's funny in my head. Actually, it's kind of impossible because I don't know, well, now I can't remember if Himerelda was actually in that, what's it called, raid.
I don't think she was.
No. But no, completely side tangent. That's just me being like, whatever.
Oh no, I literally have down in my notes. Now I want Mr. Hardcell to turn out to be another one of the players.
A little bit. But then again, I don't need that.
Yeah.
Like, that would be cute. But again, another coincidence on top of a mountain
Yeah.
of them. And at
Yeah.
some point, you've got to have a realistic cutoff.
That's what I liked about this was the first real episode outside of the game, and I
Yes.
thought that was as you were saying, this was the big payoff because I
Yeah.
thought, oh cool, we're goofing off in an MMO. You know, we've had that kind of honeymoon period of man, isn't it fun having friends online? Like, okay, I've gotten enough of that. I want to see now what's the next step. I honestly didn't expect us to get this. I expected us to stay the course.
Oh, yeah.
For that, and so to see it just kind of only have 1-2 scenes to the game, it was really cool.
Yeah, that's because we were born, we lived during the 90s where these shows would just drag it out into the point where it was
Yes.
insufferable.
Yeah.
No, this show is like, no, we'll still keep some cards, but no, Sakura knows now. Like, and this easily could have been one of those things where Sakura thinks he knows, but then some coincidence happens that makes him think, oh, I was wrong. And
20
then it
episodes
goes,
later, he still doesn't know.
yeah, no, he figured it out,
Yeah.
and it is like, now he knows, Mori he knows, Kowai knows, oh God, what's his face?
Convenience store guy, Kanbei.
Kanbei.
Kanbei knows.
Whatever his real name is.
But that being said, there is a part of me that's kind of hoping that like Mori isn't kept in the dark for too long, because at some point,
Yeah.
I'm seeing in the next couple episodes she will be let out of someone's gonna tell her, it's gonna slip, and then I think we'll just have cool interplay dynamics, which is why I don't think Koiwai is necessarily pure 100% benefactor matchmaker, because there's got to be something else for this climax to hit. And I feel
Yeah.
like they've kind of set him up to be the wrench.
I think that we talked about how Just Because is fucking up all its love triangles. This episode was a love triangle done so well.
Oh, yeah.
Because the contrast of the two dates like really shows what she is seeing in each of these guys. With Sakura, they're both very socially awkward. They have their guard up. They're kind of trying to feel each other out, but not let each other get too close.
Yeah.
And then with Koiwai, she is very demure, very self-effacing, very awkward, and he can kind of run roughshod over that sometimes. But you also notice that he, much more than Sakura-chan, is able to draw her out.
Yeah.
He gets her talking about things that she cares about. He gets her talking about
the fucking game and
yeah,
shit.
the fucking game, and he puts her at ease. Like, oh yeah, I play some shooters, Actually, Sakura and I, we're kind of game buddies. We'll, after work, we'll shoot the shit and play some games. Yeah, that was amazing to see.
I really like that.
But here's the thing. I, by and large, fully believe, I don't think it's a love triangle. And I think it is only ostensibly a love triangle from the point of from the perspective that Koiwai is playing a move here, but I just don't think it's actually to be with Mori.
I don't think it is either.
I
but,
think that's his plan. I think that's his plan B.
Maybe.
Yes, that's what I see. I think his initial plan is to get them to hook up, and if that doesn't work, then hey, he's already got a foot in.
And that I'd be fine with that. I'd be
Yes.
okay with that. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
But it would also be it would also up his he is that much of a bro to Sakurai to flat out be like, I want you two to get together, but if you don't, I'd like to get with her too. Because
that's what I see.
Because then he's actually interested in Mori, but he's putting his friend first.
Yeah.
Unlike if he were just not interested in Mori and just trying to be a good friend. So, it's kind of weird. You'd think that would be the scummier one, but no, that would actually make him an even better friend if he were interested in Mori, but because he has basically manufactured their them getting
exactly.
together. He is every machination of this man has pushed them closer together. So it's gosh, it would be crazy to think that he's not trying.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. I've been in that situation. I've not been the coy why because I'm not that slick or that selfless.
Yes, but I had the friend do the same thing.
Yeah, but I've been in that situation where I sort of like this girl and my friend sort of likes this girl and we both really like this girl and we're both kind of like, hey man, is this bro code? Is this cool? Are you,
Yeah.
Yeah, I have 100% been there. I think that's super relatable and it's adorable and I love it.
There's a 2-word solution to that whole thing. Eiffel Tower.
I don't want to.
I don't see them going to see any French landmarks in this show, Scott. What do you think?
No, they've got plenty in their internet games. This is just they're you know what they're gonna do? I can't wait till the final episode where they go play Second Life, then they start doing some sexy RP online.
But
I'm just saying.
No, one of them, probably Sakura, would have to be a furry.
Oh, I'm sure somebody's got something there. Somebody's got to be into some shit.
So one other point from my notes, minor point that I wanted to bring up. There was when Morioka is talking to Sakura, she is very, very apologetic. Like, oh, I put you through so much trouble. I'm sorry. And it gets right to the point where it is finally over the top. Like, I know it's a quirk. I know it's a thing that she has to overcome, but I was finally tired of it.
Yeah.
Literally, as I was typing in my notes, I got up to, in all caps, stop, apologize, and right then, she says, no, you know what? Thank you for tonight.
Yeah.
And that was just the most beautiful bit of timing where the character finally stops and does a little internal self-assessment and changes course right exactly when they needed to. I love this show, you guys.
Yeah, it's really cute.
I'm so happy to hear that you love this
I know.
show.
I was expecting you to hate it. I'm really glad you like it.
I wasn't expecting to hate it. I was expecting to endure it. And I am not. I am loving every minute.
Yeah, but I also expected the show to be something else. I expected it to
Yeah.
be that fucking, like the first 3 episodes were forever. That's
Yeah.
what I expected. I'm glad it's not.
I think I've got this kind of perspective that you came out of the womb with a cigar in hand and slapped the nurse on the ass. Maybe I need to lay up on that just a little bit.
Well, I think we've beat off this show as much as we can for 1 week, but tune in next week where we squee like little girls over how cute all these characters are.
It's cute.
Kawaii as fuck.
Black Clover,
Oh, man.
which I gave my first kill vote this week after 2 straight weeks of, you know what, this is not great, but it could get better. I don't see this show getting any better. I do not like this ensemble. I do not like these characters.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah. So, man, all of these shows had one huge thing that I wanted to talk about but couldn't. But
Okay.
No, hold on. You guys talk about yourself first because I was the one who voted to kill it. You talk about what you liked about this week.
I voted to kill it too.
Oh, wait.
We were both
Yeah,
killed.
no, sorry. It's on the chopping block.
I'm the only defender,
Yeah, it is. It is between this and Just Because for.
both of which I defended.
Yeah, and it's pretty obvious.
I mean, look, if it's down to one more episode of this or one more episode of Just Because, like we went through that whole segment, I will take another episode of this. But boy, the Black Bulls are doing nothing for me. They are so factory die stamped shonen cliches. Here's the drunk chick. Here is what is basically what's his fuck Hughes from Full Metal Alchemist, only it's his little sister
Oh,
and
yeah.
not
And
his
It's
daughter.
way creepier.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
a lot creepier.
It's Hughes but creepy because
It's not his daughter.
Hughes was heartwarming. Look how much I love my family. This is nope, this guy might actually want to fuck his sister.
Yeah,
and I
no,
hate
the
it.
nosebleed.
Yeah.
If it weren't about the nosebleed, if you were just like, oh, my sweet little sister, she's the best, maybe it wouldn't be as creepy. It'd still be creepy, I'm sorry, because this whole fucking little sister Lolita fetish thing going on in Japanese anime is a fucking crime against humanity. I hate him. If that character weren't a part of this troupe, I might have fucked this show this week. But with the introduction of that character, it has driven that knife way deeper than it could have before.
I think as you said, the prevalence of all this little sister bullshit right now is what made that all the worse. And I absolutely agree. I fucking hate that shit. Get it out of my shows.
Because here's the thing, I like the idea of this squad. They're all
Yeah, me
terrible
too.
people.
I like that.
And there's even a fantastic joke, a joke I liked. Which, okay, here's the thing. Here's the weird thing. I hate this joke and I like this joke because it does one thing I really don't like shows doing, but it also makes a really funny joke out of it, which is, well, that's blah, blah, blah. She's a drunkard and kind of a bitch, but she's a good person. That's this blah, blah, blah. He really likes fighting and he's kind of immature, but he's a good person. There's blah, blah, blah. He's really creepily obsessed with his sister, but he's a good person. There's Captain Yami. And then for a moment,
Yeah,
and then Asta's like, wait, is he a good person?
Yeah,
And I'm like, the comedic timing in this show can be rock solid. Like when anytime Yami says, shut up, sorry. Like he's like the delivery from the Asta's actor for the comedic parts can actually be really good. And the timing is good too. But you know what's really, really wrong with that whole joke? Here's this person's character laid out right for you as if they're them blatantly doing it in front of you, didn't tell you exactly what this character's about over and over again. Like,
we've drilled Yami a few too many times already.
well, but here's Yami's fine. Actually, Yami's the one character I'm like, okay, cool. He is what he is. He'll continue to be that. But to introduce all of these.
Oh, you mean everyone else?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all these members with their quirks up front. You just told me about all these characters.
Yeah, again, this show loves to tell and then show, maybe.
And I cannot believe this show keeps using the one line that locked the kill for me this week. Magic means everything in this world. Human beings do not talk like that. I am angry at people who like this show because I'm like, how do you stand this writing? How can you stand characters who blatantly tell you what is important? What people like? There's that scene, and again, in the first episode, that guy watering his crops and people using magic in their everyday lives.
Yeah, and that's the one image I remember more than every other thing.
And if they hadn't have used that line, or later when that one character says, "You'll never even hold down a job," I'm like, that line would have cut to the quick.
Yeah.
If every other character hadn't fucking told you, including the 8-year-old who is 10 times more mature than almost every other character in this goddamn series, magic means everything in this world.
I think what it is.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
For record-keeping purposes, I did make a list of nicknames for everybody in the squad, just in case I needed to keep track of them later.
Thank you.
They are, in rough order of appearance, Goth Nazi Clown, Drunky McBigtits, Windy McFights-A-Lot, Literal Pedophile, Sweets, Gluttony from Full Metal Alchemist, Scarhead, and Generic Boy.
Yeah, that's accurate.
And that's... I got nothing else. This show sucks, but it sucks slightly less than just because.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I only saved it because I want it to be this thing that it probably isn't. And again, I'm just holding out that it will turn into that, but it probably won't. I don't know.
We're all holding out for a hero. Is that hero's name Ancient Magus Bride? Because this episode it's a real good episode.
That was a good episode.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad this was the last thing I watched. And I'm so glad Black Clover was the first thing I watched.
Yeah.
So, this episode we got, so much.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of an answer to what Elias is. He is some
Kinda.
sort of, really just, it's answering a question with another question.
Mm-hmm.
He is not human. He is not a fairy, but he is something in between the human and fairy worlds.
I think at some point, the king, or what is his name?
Oberon?
Oberon. By the way, I love these names. Like, great names, great lore. Like, and I believe these are actual, like...
Oberon is an actual fucking name.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if it's a druid king, but
Yeah.
he's someone.
Yeah.
Oberon and Titania are from Midsummer Night's Dream. That's Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But Shakespeare didn't make it up. He took it from folklore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm so glad that these are the characters that they've decided to employ. He actually says to Elias, like, you'll never return to being a fairy. Like, I think that's the line. I remember that
Yeah,
pretty...
he says something akin to that.
He says something like, you will never be fully human, but you will also never be...
Well, no, I'm really sure that he mentions, like, he
does mention fairy.
Yeah, he mentions
Yeah.
that you'll never be a fairy again. Like, I think he's a fairy, like, I think he was never human to begin with.
I don't think he was ever. I don't think he was ever human. I don't know if he exactly mentions you'll be a fairy again, but it doesn't matter. 'Cause
Man,
ultimately,
I feel like that's an important line, and
I don't think it is
Well-
because here's the thing with the thing about Elias. It doesn't matter what he is. It matters what he did.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what they keep kind of dancing around.
That's
like the whole point of this episode is, hey, you did that one thing forever ago, and the other dudes, the sorcerers, because they also wrap up the loose ends of the
I
Cat
have it
Island.
right here. I wrote it down because the wording seemed important. Renfred, the sorcerer, says,
Yeah, the sorcerer.
you can neither become human nor return to being a fairy.
yes.
Okay,
Thank
gotcha.
you.
Okay.
So he is somehow, like, hopefully we find out more about it later. I don't think I need any more than we've been giving right now, but apparently some sort of formerly fairy, fae type creature.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seems to have been. Everyone kind of alludes to him as something bad, or that he did something that he was taking penance for because now he's been assigned 10 years ago. Something happened, and we don't know what it is yet. And that's ultimately what the thing that I'm curious about. I don't care what he is. He's just Bone Man. I don't fucking care.
And now he's got a follower of a foreign god following him.
yeah, which is cool.
Yeah, I don't care what he is. What might be interesting is what he's done.
Yes.
Because there's another blink and you miss it line that I wrote down because it seemed important. Titania and Oberon's servant, I guess, Harold Spriggan.
Yeah.
Who is staunchly against them hanging out with Elias. He hates him. And he says, think of all the spirits who were lost because of him.
Yeah.
Something happened. And
Yeah.
I'm real curious to know what that backstory is.
Yeah, again, because he was assigned some other dude is now watching him that was assigned to him 10 years ago. He had something, because the sorcerers alluded to it as well, that was like, you did this crazy shit too. You think like you can just sweep all that under the rug.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested to see, but obviously it's going to play into later where Chisei will probably find out and that'll be tension and then reconcile, I assume.
Yeah.
But along the way, I'm really curious to see what depths of depravity or crazy mage shit he
Well,
did.
the next episode, like, if you saw the preview.
No, I don't watch those.
Okay.
I try to go on blind.
Okay. Yeah, I watch them. I don't mind
Mm-hmm.
previews so much, especially for shows like this where they're very light on the actual details.
So as far as this reflects on the Elias and Chisei relationship, though, I think this show is doing exactly what I wanted it to do, which is exploring the dynamic between the two of them. Not necessarily, at least I hope not, like fully romanticizing it, but exploring it. Because he reveals why he bought her, basically. And
Yeah.
he straight up says, like, yeah, I can sort of understand humans, but I can never really fully empathize with them. And I was hoping that by taking one that had just nobody else, nowhere else to go, that pretty much had to bond to me, that I could raise one, basically, and gain a greater understanding of them.
Yeah,
And she says, okay, until you no longer need me, I will stay by your side. And on the one hand, this is kind of cool. It shows at least some vulnerability in him, some of what he hopes to get out of this. So from that perspective, it's really cool. From another perspective, it's really kind of scary. Like, don't stay with somebody thinking you can change him, because, spoiler warning, ladies, you can't.
Yeah.
Also, dudes, you can't.
Yeah.
Stay with somebody if they are what you need now, not because you think you can turn them into what you need.
Yeah. But luckily with this, there seems to be, like, she's looking at this as more of a calling. She's kind of seeing, like, it's less, I can change him so he'll be better for me. She's looking at this as, this is something I can do with my life. This is something I can explore. I'll be safe. I'll be protected. I might even be cherished here. And she can see an opportunity for herself and her life to get better nowhere else. So and luckily, Elias has fully established that he has no intention of hurting her. Like, this is not a situation of, if you try to leave, I'll hurt you. This is well, technically you are my property. I'm doing this because I want to improve my life, and you literally had nothing else. So it's still weird. It's still weird. There's a lot of
Here's the thing. I feel really conflicted about it. At first, in the first couple of episodes, I wasn't sure if that's what they wanted me to feel, or if or if it was supposed to be, oh, look at this loving relationship.
Yes.
As of this episode, I think I'm feeling exactly as conflicted as they want me to.
Yeah, exactly.
Because she says the line that really troubled me was, I wish you bought me 10 years earlier. And I was like,
But no, it's true though. Because remember all the horrible things that she's had to go through, the suicidal depression. What she's saying is, the life I have now is way better than back then.
I know, but it also carries the weight of companionship, and I would have been 5. So,
I mean, yeah, but as we've seen, he's actually not too sexual about it. So it's like, oh well. I mean,
although he may not be, but remember what Titania says at the end of the episode, which is, so you guys have any kids yet? You gonna have kids? How's that gonna?
To be fair, putting that into perspective, the fact that he is kind of grooming her to be his bride, maybe you're right there. Because then it would have gone from, raising a kid, or it would have gone from, prepping somebody to help carry on your lineage and providing them a better life to grooming a 5-year-old to be your bride. The first one's conflicting all on its own because of a million different reasons. The second one is gross.
There's a term for it. It's called wife husbandry.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was just like kind of again, it was my big problem with the show when it first started, like the first 2 episodes. I really did not enjoy the dynamic that was being explored. I just didn't enjoy it. I have no desire to explore that. I was like, I don't care. That's cool. I understand some people want to look at that. But now we've kind of reached the point where both characters have had enough on-screen growth and change. I think we have seen a bit from both of them to where I'm now curious, where I believe Chise, of her own volition, was saying a lot of this shit too. And her kind of making the move at the end to really embrace him. I appreciated that. And when she ultimately was in his arms going, oh, he doesn't, no facial expressions, but I can see like this kind of like childish glimmer in his eyes. And like that doesn't negate a lot of my problems, but it does kind of paint the relationship in a way that I'm more okay with seeing where that goes.
It does put one big thing at ease though. The angle of, I want you to be my wife, is less of a, I lust for you and I want to have sex with you and blah blah blah. No, it's a, I want to it's not altruistic.
Yes.
But it's also not,
It's not malicious.
It's not malicious either.
Yeah.
It's very sterile in a lot of ways, which doesn't make it okay.
Yeah.
But also gives it a layer of complexity that doesn't make it gross.
Yeah, it's a little off-putting, I think, just being sterile, because that is very inhuman. I think that's kind of depicted with Elias by his nature. He's not human.
And that's the good thing.
Yeah.
That is not, we're not supposed to be like, oh, I wish I had my own Elias. No, you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's important to note that line that you say where Chise says that she sees this childlike gleam, that is juxtaposed with the cinematography just showing part of his jaw and the void underneath it, and his eyes as these 2 tiny little points of light in these voids in the skull. He looks less human-like than ever in that moment. And I think that's an amazing, subtle piece of art design.
And not only, also in that scene, which I thought was, because it also played along with, like, I get what you mean when she says, like, I wish you got me earlier, because during this whole time, they're walking through this beautiful fucking field. And like, it just, again, the backgrounds of the show continue to blow me away. And it's just like, no fucking wonder, look at this shit. This is magical that she gets to do this.
If I can say something, as I mentioned with Garo and its backgrounds being incredibly boring, there are a lot of shows this season that kind of go up and down in terms of their overall design. Oh man, does Magus Bride just bring the beautiful? Like, there are just some shots that don't need to linger as long as they do. But man, you get to take in so much. Also, the Queen of the Fairies has gelatin tits.
That at first I was like, really, jiggling tits in this show of all shows? It's not meant to titillate, because it does that thing where they move like breasts should not move, and I think that is there to emphasize, she's not human. She might look human-ish, but she is something else.
Also, they have 3 fingers. Which was
Oh my
cool.
God, do they?
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I'll have to rewatch that. Also, I love the king.
Oh yeah, he was great. I love his design, everything about him, his mannerisms. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He is a lot younger and more whimsical than the typical depiction of Oberon, the Horned Lord.
Yeah.
But then again, there really is no canonical depiction of these characters in folklore. They show up in lots of places. Shakespeare, gargoyles.
Yes.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, because they're these traditional folkloric characters, and they're always a little different every time they show up because they are old characters.
And I love. Speaking of them, I love her intro. Just with Spriggan coming down, like let all the flowers sing. Don't let your scent like drift into the wind. Let everything gather around her. That's so cool.
I love Gaelic Miyazaki.
I know, it's so freaking cool. It's just really it is that fucking pastoral that Tolkien loves doing, exemplified of here's how fucking magical this moment in the forest is, and look how fucking cool nature is. Like, I loved it.
Yeah.
And going back to something that you alluded to about Simon the priest being Titania calls him a worshiper of that foreign god, and then like forcibly kicks him out of this sacred glade, whatever.
In an awesome effect.
because of the fruit.
Yep, saying
Yeah.
This is another one. I took a lot of direct quotes because so
Cool,
much
this
of
is
this.
a good line.
Those who kneel to the one who condemned the fruit of paradise as evil are not welcome.
Yeah.
I love the tension between Christianity and this older pagan tradition
It's
here.
really cool.
Because when it comes to a lot of like Christianity, and look, I'm not going to get too much into this because people have their own beliefs, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but Christianity took a lot from pagan religions and then kind of adopted them and changed them. Easter, Christmas, all in its and yeah, it's a younger religion, and it's coming in here upstart being like, this is how I think it went down. And so this older Gaelic, this older religion is like, get the fuck out of here, you.
Yeah, and I think that tension is such a huge part of the British character. You see it in Tolkien too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tolkien being a devout practicing Catholic, but also having so much affection for this older tradition. I think that is such a huge part of British culture. The fact that
Tirnanog.
the fact that
they dropped here in a nog. I'm like, man, I want to go.
And they call it Albion. It's easy to forget that Britain is part of Europe, sort of, but not really. There's some water in between there, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah, and it paints. I love that it's set in the real world. I can't get over how much it's playing with.
I agree.
It's so cool.
If this had been set in not the real world, it would have
it'd still be enchanting, but not as much.
Actually, that's kind of my problem half the time when it comes to fantasy is that I have trouble connecting with high fantasy.
So same.
It's why actually Tolkien was so hard for me to get into. I love the idea of things that pull from real world religions and ideas and then set them in the real world and give you parallels. Like we can go to that other world, but as long as Earth is there to come back to and compare, that's important for me.
Same. That's wwhy I like the urban fantasy elements that they really dug into in the second episode. You get that Harry Potter urban shit. Where it's like, I'm walking down the street, but we still got this crazy magic shit. I really like how this story is doing fantasy. It's the kind I really like.
Fun Tolkien fact, in the early conception
of
what his world was, that was supposed to be the distant prehistory of Great Britain specifically, which was supposed to be like the last chunk of the Feywild, the Elven land that was left over after all that magical shit got removed from the mundane world.
Oh, so what you're saying is Magus Bride is actually a direct sequel to the Tolkien universe? Okay.
Confirmed.
That's cool. Yep. So this is what happens if we didn't lose all magic? Okay, cool.
Yeah. It was good stuff. I love, ultimately, like closing thoughts on it. I really just enjoy the magic. I love how they're doing it. I'm not a fan of fantasy. I prefer sci-fi over almost every other thing. But man, if they don't make it seem entrancing and magical and they let things hang long enough for me to get invested. They don't do like, here's this cool thing and then boom. Here's this and then boom. I don't know. It's like a minute and a half, 2 minutes of the fucking of the queen just coming in and really just letting you go, look how cool this looks. And it does look just as neat and as inviting and entrancing as it is. It's so cool.
And the production values on all sides are supporting it. You have got great music, great art, great animation.
Bagpipes, man.
Yeah.
So fucking cool.
Yeah, like, this not a whole lot of shows in this season have real standout music. Some of them do. Some of them are just, okay, that's the background noise. But yeah, no, here we have amazing music and amazing visuals and these ideas. And it's kind of interesting because I wouldn't change the ideas that are presented. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are conflicting. A lot of them are like kind of make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yes.
Yeah, it feels very intentional. Let's explore the tension between these ideas, and it never feels like it's telling me what to think or what to feel about them.
Yeah.
It is presenting them and trusting the audience to reach their own conclusions, and that's amazing.
Yep.
And it'll be amazing to watch more next week and to yak about it for 2 straight hours next week.
Oh, man, I don't want to know how long this got.
Yeah, I know this is a long one, but you know what? There was a lot of good shit this week. I wouldn't have changed a damn thing.
Yep,
so.
We will see you guys next time, hopefully for more good shit, and hopefully the bad shit gets killed. Next time on Anime FMK, snip it off, we done.